Hello, Holly Harris here, Intuitive Healing Practitioner, and we are doing a clearing for panic and anxiety around this virus. And I suggest that you have some water nearby, drink lots of water, it helps the energy move. And I also suggest grounding yourself first before listening to this. So you can do that by just using your imagination or even going outside and just putting your feet in the dirt or in the grass. But when you use your mind, you can just visualize a grounding cord going from your tailbone down your legs, down your feet, deep down into the center of the earth and just growing roots in all directions. And then I usually like to bring up some earth energy up that grounding cord to just ground me out and to help me feel more settled. So you want to start by just taking a couple of big deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just let your energy settle in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, so we're going to be working with some symbolic images today to do this clearing. So the first image is I saw it kind of like a cloud of energy kind of floating along, kind of like germs floating in the air, but they looked like particles that could be anything. I kind of saw this energy like floating and moving, and there was this like feeling or fear of where will it go? Who will it touch? We can't see it. We don't know where it's coming from. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know how to stop it. It's just kind of this like fear of the unknown. And there's this like energy of, will it touch me? Will I come into contact with it? And then there's this fear of like, how do you prepare for something that you don't know much about? Obviously, there's a ton of speculation and there's a lot more information coming out, but there's still just this fear of this kind of unknown energy. And it's a little bit of like unsure footing or unsure ground, feeling a little bit of out of control because this is not something that we have control over. And there's like this panicky sensation in the chest. You can take a couple big deep breaths and just tap on your chest to kind of break that up. And there's this fear or this feeling of like, when will I be safe? Will I ever be safe again? And you can just keep tapping. And there's like this kind of like expansive or big energy that feels kind of like grasping, trying to grasp or to grab onto like something that feels sure or known. And there's like this like panicky sensation. It's again, I'm just keep getting this image of like unsure ground and wanting to like find sure ground or wanting to have a sure foundation, wanting something that will help you to feel safe. So I'm getting that we can put in a good belief here. So you can either tap on your chin or in your sternum and you can say, I know how to live my life experiencing safety because I know that safety comes from within. When I feel safe, it is because I know that I'm already safe inside of me. I know that I have a sure and firm foundation because I know who I am and where I come from, and I know that God and the universe always has my back. I know that I'm safe because this is just a human experience and that my soul cannot be harmed and that This is just all an experience. Okay, let's see. So the last little piece of this is there's this feeling of like, how will this affect my life? What does this look like? What's coming? There's like this anticipation, but well, it's like a stuck feeling, like waiting energy. And well, I heard this phrase yesterday. It's like, when you wait, you can't create. So there's a little bit of this energy of just like, I don't know what to do, where to go. And like, it's like not moving, waiting and seeing. And it's kind of keeping everything in our lives from like flowing. So like this waiting energy keeps money from flowing, and it keeps abundance from flowing, and it gets energy really kind of stuck in the body. So like I've been seeing a lot of people who are saying that they feel really overwhelmed, and that they like when they do energy clearing, that like it's like this massive like overload kind of releasing. And so this like waiting energy just keeps energy really stagnant, and it keeps circulation from flowing. And so we can tap here and say, I know how to embrace circulation and go with the flow even when others are waiting or energy feels like it's not moving. I allow all energy to flow freely in my body. I choose circulation even in times of waiting. It is safe for me to move. It is safe for my energy to move and flow. And I choose circulation in this time of the unknown. And you can say, my energy is incorruptible by this this waiting energy of others around me. Okay, let's see. Okay, we will move on to image 2 now. Let's see. Well, let me go back and check. Did we clear everything on image 1? Yes. Okay. Just wanted to double check that. So image 2 here. Okay, so on this one, I was getting an image of like chains, like around the arms and like the body, and it's like a being tied down or weighed down feeling. It's really oppressive and heavy, and can't move, can't go anywhere. I have no choice in this. And there's this hard to breathe feeling and some panic and anxiety that comes with that. So we can just do some tapping here on the chest again. And I'm hearing this belief, I find it hard to breathe when I feel weighed down. So we can just pull, cancel, and dissolve that belief. So you can just take a big deep breath and breathe it out. And there's like this sticky, hard to get off energy. I'm feeling it on the back, like this weighed down heaviness from like mid to lower back. And this like fear that's coming along with it. Like there's a little bit of wondering like what God's going to do and how, like what's going to happen next. So let's see, there's a belief here. It's like, how do I know? How do I know God will support me through this? So there's just some old fears, it feels like, coming up. So we can pull, cancel, dissolve that. Big deep breaths when you breathe those out. So I feel this energy coming up of like, kind of like our ancestors or pioneers or people who suffered through hard times, specifically this belief that, you know, we're in the last days and we're going to need to suffer too, or we're told that there will be lots of suffering and death. And so there's this feeling of like, do I have to experience this? Am I going to have to experience this? what's going to happen to me? And there's almost like, it's interesting. I'm feeling this energy of like an opting in or out. And it's kind of like, well, there's a belief here. It's like, if I'm righteous, I have to suffer. So we can just pull, cancel, dissolve that. Suffering is a choice, right? We can go through hard times and we can go through trials, but we don't have to suffer through them. So that's kind of an old paradigm that we can shift and move, and we don't have to choose into. That doesn't mean we won't experience hard things, but you can probably kind of look around you and see how that might be going on during this time. There's people who are really light and contributing and who are providing value to others, and then there's people who are freaking out and buying tons of toilet paper and hoarding food. And there, you can go one of two ways with this, right? You can believe that all things are provided for you, and you can trust that God cares about you, or you can live in fear and choose to hoard because there's this scarcity kind of energy. So it's like an opting in or out is what I'm getting. And so what you can do is, if you want to not obviously opt into this fear and hoarding and scarcity type energy, you can just tap and say, I choose to opt into trust, faith, and belief in the universe and God and abundance, and that everything that I need is always mine, that everything I need will be provided for me, that God cares about me and my needs and wants, and He wants me to have everything that I need to survive and to be able to live. And I trust that all those things will come to me when I need them. I choose to have the experiences of life free from the need to suffer or believe that I need to suffer in order to be righteous or to be on God's side or to be a saint. So these are just some old energies and paradigms that we can choose to release now. Let's see. Okay, so this energy on the back is feeling better, but there's still a little bit of stickiness. Let's see. Okay, so I'm hearing it's just a little bit of this it's like a disbelief sort of. It's like, can I go through hard times without suffering? Aren't they synonymous with each other? Don't they go hand in hand? All of humanity has had to experience hard things, and there's been plagues, and there's been wars, and suffering goes with that. And shouldn't I have to experience suffering when everybody else has? And there's a little bit of this guilt. So we can just pull, cancel, dissolve that. Take a big deep breath. You can tap. That was a big one. Okay, there's this energy of I should have to suffer. Why shouldn't I have to suffer when everyone else has? And there's this lots of guilt coming up, and shame. Who am I that I shouldn't have to suffer? So we can just pull, cancel, dissolve that. There's this feeling of solidarity, with our ancestors, and wanting to know that wanting them to know we're grateful for what they went through, that led to us being able to have the lives that we have. And there's just this feeling of not. So what I'm feeling is I want them to know I'm grateful too. So it's I'm gonna suffer out of gratitude. Yeah, that's interesting. So the energy is, I need to suffer out of gratitude to all those who have come before me. So we'll just pull, cancel, dissolve that. And then you can just tap and say, I know how to have gratitude for those who have come before me, and I love them and I'm grateful for all that they went through. And I can have gratitude for them, free from the need to suffer myself. And I honor them and what they went through by choosing out of suffering now. So I feel this energy from our ancestors of like, we went through all of this, and we did it for you know, not only ourselves and our children, but for you, so that you don't have to suffer. And there's this feeling of like, you know, we want humanity to evolve and to be able to experience hard things free from the need to suffer through them. And so it just feels like I just get this picture of like heavenly hosts and angels like watching over us, and just them sending their love and I don't know, just kindness and caring towards us. And there's this energy of like, you can go through this without the need to like suffer as much or something. So it's like a growing and a expanding and a evolving type energy. Whew. Okay, so let's see the rest. Let's see. Okay, so just the end of this here, this fear of loss of freedom. This feels like a separate image actually. Okay, so going back to these chains, it's like being weighed down, fear of loss of freedom, not being able to move, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's like this fear that like the chains will keep being piled on top of you until you're like covered. And I get this image of like just being buried by like all these chains, and like almost like not like being able to move an ounce. And there's just this fear that like there's nothing you can do about it. Let's see what needs to be cleared here. Okay, so there's like, so attached to this is like this confusion about what to do and misinformation. How do I know what's real and what's not? This need for clarity and truth, and like being able to see like when you need to defend yourself and when you don't need to defend yourself, when you can trust the government and when you can't trust the government. There's this feeling of like, I want to be able to trust in our leaders and I want to have faith in them, but at the same time I want to have clarity and be able to see like, you know, what I can do on my own for my family, how I can be self-reliant, how I can make sure that I don't need to depend on others, because we've kind of been, you know, obviously taught that we need to be self-reliant. And so there's like this, I'm getting this image of this scale and like wanting balance, and to be able to know when to do and what to do. Okay, so I'm getting, we need the energy of Bach flower essence Serato. So you can tap and just say, I'm imprinting, integrating, and incorporating the properties of Bach flower essence Serato into my energy field. So Serato supports trusting your intuition, and I might add the spirit to guide you when needed. And so you can also tap and say, I know how to trust the spirit and my intuition on each step to take before me. I know how to have faith that my next steps will be placed in front of me, that I will be guided, and that I can surrender to my intuition, free from fear of making wrong decisions, that I can surrender to the guidance of the spirit, free from the fear that I won't hear or know what to do. I know how to have peace and clarity, and I know how to see the truth from untruth. The truth is easily recognizable to me. The truth feels light and good in my body, and untruth is unmistakably clear. Okay, let's see. Okay, can we clear these chains now? Okay, so there's one last belief here that we need. It's like I'm just feeling a little bit like in the center of the back. There's something about support. Let's see. Okay, so there's like some trauma, some ancestral trauma of suppression and like being, I don't know, I'm hearing the word like overruled, like my rights, my agency is being overruled by others. So I'm feeling like lots of like, I don't know, like for instance, like what's coming up is like I keep seeing like different civilizations being overruled by other civilizations. So like for instance, like in the time of Christ, there was the Romans who ruled ruled over the Jews, and then like I'm seeing like the Babylonians, and then like Egypt, and all those like times when there was like this oppression. And even like I'm being reminded of like the Scots and how they were kind of oppressed by the Brits, and like those kinds of things, like back in those times when like there was always like one nation trying to rule over the other, or this constant fight between France and Britain, and like so there's this energy of someone trying to take away what's yours, and having to fight for it, and knowing when to fight for it and when the fight's not worth it or not needed. But there's just some trauma from our ancestors. So is this ready to clear? Okay, so I'm getting this is ready to clear. So you can just take a big deep breath and I'll clear everyone's timelines. And you can tap and say, I know how to maintain the feeling of freedom, even when it feels like people are trying to take my freedom away. Okay, are we done with image 2? Yes, okay. So now we're on to image 3. I'm seeing large groups of people, everyone we know, loved ones, friends, coworkers, church family, work family, all these people that we care about in our life, even our acquaintances. And there's this worry and this wanting to help, wanting to make sure everyone's okay, wanting to like have connection. And there's this like feeling of, I want to be able to help people. I want to still serve others, but there's this fear of like contributing to like spreading this virus. And we've seen all these like all these memes and all these like videos that show like what happens when you don't stay home. And so there's lots of this like fear energy, and then there's like this feeling of wanting to serve others, but then like feeling like you can't. So I kept hearing the song like, should I stay or should I go? And then there's this worry though about abandoning others. But then so there's a lot of this like back and forth energy, but also wanting to protect your family. And then I got images of lots of like older people. So there's like sadness about people having to fend for themselves, being locked in their homes, no one to help. But there's also this worry of like, if I do help these older people, will I get them sick, and will it be my fault? And there's this panic around like, by me living my life, am I going to hurt others? So there's this this is intense. There's like some grief here of like wanting to live, but having to choose between living and hurting other people is what it feels like. And then there's this loss of connection and feeling of community and feeling separate, and like wanting to hug and touch people, and these things that humans need, right? This connection that we get through physical touch, and just being in other people's presence and feeling their energy, and So there's lots of panic and crying energy coming up here. So just take some big deep breaths. And there's this feeling of, when will it be safe to live again? And this grief, lots of grief, so you can tap on your chest. And fear that things won't ever be the same again. Ooh, sorry guys. Just keep tapping and breathing. And there's this fear of, can I get my life back? Will I get my life back? And I'm seeing like this slippery slope and this fear of like descending into this place that we can't come back from. Just take some big deep breaths. Keep tapping. And there's this like fear of loss, of this like realizing that we had this like really good, beautiful life, and like feeling shame for taking it for granted. Lots of grief coming up here. Wishing that we could have done more with the time that we had. And then there's just this, hold on one second here. Sorry, my kids are home, so I had to shut my door. And there's just this feeling of like, I'm getting an image of like a hand and like feeling like things are slipping away. So this feels a little bit connected to like fear of the economy, fear of like not having food supply, fear of just not being able to like do the things that you normally did. And like fear of like losing your connections to others. And then I see a little bit of this energy of like, what will life be like when this is over and we can like live our lives again? And there's this feeling of like, once there's, I'm getting this image of like a blanket of fear. So it's like right now when you go out in public, you may have noticed that like there's this like hurrying type energy. Like you see people like getting in and out of stores really quickly. And there's this feeling of not being able to have like leisure, and like a little bit of like panic around like not wanting to spread this or hurt others. And so there's this feeling of like, where's the line? Like where's the how do we know like when things are safe and when they aren't? And like there's a little bit of this what is it? It's like a disbelief kind of type energy, almost like how does one know that it's safe because someone just says, okay, it's okay to go out in public now? Like what's the difference? And there's this feeling of like, I just want to live my life. I just want things to go back to normal. And there's just this fear that it won't. So let's see, what's the belief here? The fear is like, what if I can't go back to my life the way it was before? So we can just pull, cancel, dissolve that. Breathe that out. And there's this feeling of like just wanting safety, I guess, is what I'm feeling. So we can just, but this is a different kind of safety energy. It's than we were talking about before. It's like this safety of the world is a safe place, and not needing to fear everything, right? Because we're kind of in this like fear mode right now. So you can just tap it and put in the belief of like, I know how to see the world as a safe place. I know how to trust that I am safe in the world. I know how to look around me and see that I am safe all the time. I know how to look inward and see that I am safe all the time. I know how to be in the present moment, seeing, feeling, and believing that I am safe. There we go. Okay, is that the last of it? Okay, we cleared image 3. Now we're on to image 4. We may have cleared this already, but we'll see. Okay, so the image was of a person crying. So there's like sadness, grief, a feeling of loss, feeling of wanting the normal life back. I think we already cleared, did we clear this one? No, okay, so we still need to clear this. Okay, so there's like this chaos energy here, like sadness, grief, feeling of loss, feeling of wanting normal life back, feeling overwhelmed. I can't escape the chaos. Everywhere I look, it's all around me. What's real, what's not, confusion, wondering, am I safe? Is my family safe? Will I have to watch people I love die? And there's this fear of like not knowing what's coming, not knowing what's going to happen. Like, is this even real? So there's a lot of this, like, you see on the internet, there's a lot of people who like believe lots of different things around this. And obviously, like, I have my own theories, but like, sometimes we need to like just set all that aside because you know, in reality, there's nothing that we can do about what other people choose to do, whether, you know, this pandemic was created by someone releasing a virus or whether it was created by, you know, like they're saying like it came from some animal in China. Like, you know, it's good to want to know the truth and to be informed, but at times we have to realize that we have no control over any of that, and that we just have to surrender to being at peace with what is, right? So there's this there's lots of chaos and confusion energy, and I'm seeing like it's like standing in the eye of a storm, like a tornado, and it feels like you're just like getting hit with things, and like you can't get out of it. So there's this feeling of like, how do I get out of this? How do I step out of this energy? How do I feel normal again? And like, what is normal even anymore? And then there's this like fear of like, what's going to hit me next? Anticipating grief and hardship and wondering how bad it's going to be. And like, it's like, again, it's like a waiting energy, but this is like a like hiding type waiting energy where you're like, I get this image of like someone like ducking down and covering their head and like just waiting for a blow. And so it's like I can't do anything about this and I'm just waiting to see how hard it's going to hit me. Ooh, take a couple big deep breaths and just tap on your chest. Ooh. So I'm hearing this belief, like I'm waiting to see how much I will suffer. So we can just pull, cancel, dissolve that. And there's this energy of like, I just have to take it. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm actually getting that we didn't need an essential oil here. Hold on one sec. See what it is. We need something to support us in this energy of feeling like peace and calm. Let's see. Okay, so Focus Blend. This is a doTERRA one. I'm trained, I don't know if it's, I'll have to double check and maybe I can post it below this video. I think Focus Blend is in tune, but I'm not sure. So Focus Blend releases distracted, disconnected, and incomplete. Helps you feel focused, feel in the present, connected to your body, mind, and spirit. It creates the ability to get centered and focused and stay in the present and feel more grounded. So this is perfect. So you can tap this thought. I create a life of focus and direction, and I live in the present moment, free from fear. And then one question you can ask yourself is, why is it so easy for me to stay focused and connected? When we ask questions like this, our subconscious seeks to find the answer. And so we can just keep asking ourselves when we feel disconnected or feel the chaos, why is it so easy for me to stay focused, connected, grounded, and feel safe? So I'm getting that we need one more oil here, and it's the grounding blend. It's for nervousness, worry, feeling ungrounded. It instills feeling grounded, stability, and steadfastness. The ability to connect and stay grounded opens up a space for commitment, courage, and stability. So the centering thought you can tap is, I create balance and stability in my life with strength and focus. So grounding and focus blend. Okay, so one thing we can do is just tap here and say, I know how to find joy, peace, and safety in every moment. I'm willing to accept all the positive benefits of choosing joy and safety in each moment, each day. I live a life of abundance. My life is inspiring, and I open my heart to experience joy. And why is it so easy for me to experience joy? Whew. I release all anger, panic, and fear. And I create new patterns of change and transformation. I listen to my intuition, and I find my own answers, and I have clarity and vision for my future, for my ability to find joy in the future, for my ability to find safety. I release all fear of the unknown. My ego is in harmony with releasing fear of the unknown. My heart is in harmony with choosing joy, safety, and peace. And my cells are free from the memory of living in fear of the unknown. I know how to take each moment with grace, and I know how to release all fear of things I cannot control or I cannot see coming. Okay, so last image here. I was getting an image of trembling hands, and there's this like shaking energy. There's this fear or like this hype, like lots of people feeding this like hysteria. The energy focuses and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and like everywhere you look, everyone's talking about the same thing, and it's the only thing you see. So I was getting this image of like, if you put your hand up right in front of your face to where your hand is touching your nose, if you look, really all you can see is like your hand. But when you pull your hand out, you can start to see everything around it. So it's like we're getting the same thing in our face over and over again, and we can only see this thing. We can't focus on anything else. And so it's creating this energy of like expecting the worst. It's like where energy goes, energy flows. And so, you know, what we focus on is what we create. And so there's this feeling of like, because we're so focused on bad things happening, we're actually like bringing more of that. And so, or it feels like we're bringing more of that. And so there's lots of fear and panic about it. And so it feels really hard to shift your focus and bring in positivity. It's like you try, but your energy just feels really stuck, and it feels hard to look at anything else. And so like things like happiness, joy, safety, they feel really far away and kind of elusive a little bit. And so there's this energy of just, I'm hearing like, I can't step out of it. It's like your feet are stuck to the ground. Okay, let's see. What do we need here? So we need some beliefs. Do we need to release some beliefs first? Yes. Okay, so let's see. We need to release some beliefs first. So it's like we need some trust. Okay, let's see. So we can just tap and say, I allow God to work miracles in my life. I allow for the possibility of a prosperous life. I allow myself to have a happier, healthier outlook. The truth is that it's easy for me to let go of all this fear. The truth is I deserve happiness, joy, and harmony in my life, even with what's going on in the world right now. Let's see. I release all fear surrounding myself that is keeping me from feeling joy and happiness in this moment. I am liberated from fear and panic. Sorry guys, my puppy's in the background whining. Let's see. I am free from all restrictions, boundaries, and blocks to happiness, joy, and safety. I am willing to accept all the positive benefits of living in trust, and trust being my new normal. I accept my ability to embrace trust, to make trust a part of my life. I surrender to trust because I know it is where I will find safety and peace. I trust that I am enough. I trust in my ability to be enough during this time. And I trust that all people are kind and good, and that I can have experiences of peace and safety during this time. Okay. Let's see. So I keep hearing the word surrender, and let's see. Okay, so you can tap and say, I find it easy to surrender my fears and choose faith and trust. Oh, there we go, that's clearing. Okay. So I'm getting this image of, I like to use what I call a love bubble to kind of help me to feel safe and kind of step outside of other energy that I don't want. So I'm getting this image of a thing that I used to do to kind of clear my space. So what we need to do is just clear a space of any energy that doesn't belong to us. So you can imagine a bright white light starting in the center of your chest. And as you notice it and you feel it and you see it, it's bright and it's warm and it's expanding. And as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, it expands even more until it fills your whole body, and it's just growing and getting bigger, like this pulsing energy. And as you breathe out, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it expands outside your whole body, and it pushes all energy that doesn't belong to you out of your space, out of your aura, out of your energy field. And it just expands until this light fills you and nothing else can come in that doesn't belong there. And then you can place a love bubble around you. So I see this as kind of like this pink ball of energy that surrounds me, and it keeps anything that's not mine from coming into my energy field. It brings a feeling of safety, peace, love, God's love, joy. It's just like surrounding yourself with this energy. I kind of, the feeling of it is like sitting in a pink cloud. I often use the metaphor of like cotton candy. For some reason, I love cotton candy as a kid, and so like cotton candy is safety to me for some reason. And so I always get this image of like being in a room filled with cotton candy and like just this fluffy, like joyful, peaceful energy. Okay, is there anything else that we need here? So there's this feeling of like things kind of being uncertain right now. And so it's like a feeling of like having a lack of certainty and wanting certainty. So we can do a couple of beliefs here. Let's see. So you can tap and say, it's normal for me to feel certain in myself. It's normal for me to have certainty in God. And it is normal for me to have certainty in God's ability to care and love and to provide for me. I have faith in my ability to trust God and his plan for me. I am certain of a peaceful and abundant future. I'm certain of continued health. I'm certain of love and connection in my relationships. I'm certain that all things are possible. I am certain of my dreams and the direction of my future. I'm certain of my ability to find peace, safety, happiness, and joy in this world. I'm certain that mankind is capable of great love, and I choose to stand in that love now. I'm certain that I'm ready for change and to embrace the lessons that this experience is bringing. I am certain that I can face any challenge with grace and courage. I'm certain of my diligence, and I'm certain of my will and ability to succeed in all hardships and times of crisis and uncertainty. Whew, okay. Thank you for watching this. I hope this was helpful. And I send you all love as we go through this experience, and I hope that you might find peace and joy in this time. And thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.